Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. Okay, so in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the beauty, relationships, seduction and envy of those of you who have Venus located within the 8th house within your natal birth chart. However, before we do get started, definitely make sure that you give this video a like if you like it today. Also make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and to click that little bell icon so that you can keep yourself updated with further content from myself. And one more quick thing to mention, and that is that I have a merchandise store for those of you who may or may not know. Yes, I have about 6 signs up there on my Teespring, so if you're interested then you can go to the link in the description box below if you would like. Okay, so with all those introductions out of the way, Venus in the 8th house, let's do this. Right, so first and foremost, I just want to say here, when it comes to Venus, definitely make sure that you're looking to your Libra house within your birth chart, and also make sure that you're looking for or towards your Taurus house there as well, because of course Taurus and Libra are both ruled by Venus within astrology. So with that being said, if you do have Venus in the 8th house, then what this suggests is that you're someone who craves deep, profound, and meaningful love, connections, and relationships. You yearn for something that pulls at your heartstrings with a really strong and perpetual force. It's not enough for your lover or your friend to tell you, I love you, or I really care about you, because what you unconsciously seek out is a relationship that tests the other person's loyalty towards you. I mean, sure, somebody could tell you how much they do love you all day long. They could even show you through gifts or through affection and through really kind gestures or through a lot of gratitude. But what happens when it gets tough, you know? What happens when crisis or urgency occurs, or when your partner is presented with an opportunity to potentially betray you? What happens then? See, it's these types of situations that test our loyalty towards others. And you know of this all too well, Venus in the 8th house. Because to be honest, perhaps you've experienced such betrayals at some stage, some points throughout your life. Maybe you watched as your parents, they separated or they divorced because they couldn't take the heat. Or maybe you heard of family members who let other family members down. Maybe there was a lot of secrecy. Or maybe someone you once loved let you down massively. Essentially, you understand that love and relationships can go through some pretty heavy chapters. It's not all rainbows and unicorns filled with joy and happiness at every turn. It's not some superficial image posted on Instagram saying, look how in love we are. No, because to you, relationships are much deeper than that. To you, relationships are full of struggle. They may even be full of loss and hurt and pain. They can consist of unconscious motives and drives and things that just trigger us. They can threaten our very security, our very survival. All it takes is one slip up, one lie, one secret to change the entire narrative. But yet, it's also through these harsh truths that relationships can strengthen. They can evolve into something powerful and deeply, deeply bonding and meaningful. Suggesting that it's through struggle, it's through loss, that a more fulfilling and satisfying relationship can arise. But on the other hand, maybe the struggle can result in a tragedy, so a tragic end between you and somebody else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 2 examples to make this more understandable, more grounding. So let's say that you're in a romantic relationship specifically with somebody else, and they come to you and they say, I need to get something off my chest. Maybe it's an experience they went through, or maybe it's a mistake they made in the past. You, as the Venus in the 8th house individual, you will feel very intensely about what your partner is sharing, but maybe you respect your partner. You respect your partner for sharing this information because they were honest, they were truthful, they were upfront, and they confided in you. Maybe this situation then can help your relationship evolve. And so in this respect, it's the opening up of those inner demons that may result in a stronger bond between you and your partner. It's that vulnerability that is essentially bringing you closer. But on the other hand, okay, with the other example, let's say that person you're romantically involved with, let's say they deliberately conceal information from you, or they keep secrets from you for their own selfish reasons. Maybe they go behind your back, or maybe they're very malicious, and then eventually you discover that they've been lying to you for months. And so yeah, you catch them out. You, as that Venus in the 8th house person, again, you're going to feel very, very strongly about this, but in this particular situation, perhaps they're now dead to you. Perhaps it's just like, right, no, you lied to me. There's no going back from this, because what they did was just not acceptable. And could even go as far as this situation being involved with the likes of them committing infidelity or them having feelings for somebody else. So from these 2, I suppose, very extreme almost situations, I hope you can see what I mean between something evolving through a particular situation and something ending. But even with the endings of relationships, you can also evolve. You can transform as well, such as you being more clear about what you want out of a relationship, for example, or by you becoming just more aware the next time around. Then again, it's also you who transforms others. It's you, Venus in the 8th house, who has the potential to change someone else's life, either for better or for worse. And I think this may depend on aspects to Venus and the sign that Venus is in as well. But when you walk into somebody else's life, you somehow manage to move them profoundly from within without even realizing it. So you might awaken some heavy truths from within a close friend, for example, or you might possess a much deeper understanding of what your lover or what your partner is going through, as another example. You may be very good at kind of getting to the bottom of things within others, or seeing through them, or somehow knowing what their true intentions are, and you basically can bring out a lot of intense emotions from within your significant other and from within your intimate relationships. There may be deep unresolved emotions that the other person has not fully addressed, but through meeting you, they're forced to look inside, they're forced to transform. Now, this might not be the most enjoyable thing, may not be the most fun experience about your relationships, especially if the other person is in denial, or if they're not ready to release such hidden realizations. But it's you nonetheless, Venus in the 8th house, who manages to change your partner from the inside out. Now, don't get me wrong, power struggles can also arise along with chaos and destruction and manipulation and control. These qualities can come from you, and they can also come from the other person in question. And it's these things, if these things do play out, perhaps the types of relationships that you are in, they may become very abusive, they can become toxic, maybe they're relationships that can threaten your security, your survival. And if so, in these types of situations, it may be a good idea to reassess such relationships or to work on the conflicts that are happening. Though maybe these types of situations, they correspond more with challenging aspects to Venus there within the birth chart. Though regardless, still, there may be a chance of your relationships consisting of feelings of unease. They might consist of feelings of tension, and things may become quite shaky, possibly dangerous even as well. And you might also experience implications with intimacy or vulnerability if Venus has challenging aspects to it as well. Or it could quite possibly be that for some of you, you've lost a parent or you've lost a loved one growing up, and so you often struggle to let other people in fully. Or maybe certain tragic events associated with love have left you traumatized, resulting in you finding it really difficult to emotionally then connect with another person, such as a partner or with a close friend. Or you might even have trust or intimacy issues as a result of previous past experiences. Though, okay, not all is doom and gloom here, because like I said, it's through your intimate, close bonding relationships that you can transform. But I suppose the tricky part is identifying whether or not a relationship is bad for you, or if it's good for you, or if it's abusive, or if it's destructive. Maybe it really depends on the situation or the relationship itself. But when you develop a relationship based on devotion and emotional connection and loyalty and trust, you and that other person can go really, really far together. It's these types of qualities I feel that you really are attracted to within a relationship. And through this, you can certainly transform into a version of yourself who feels accepted and feels loved and feels very valued in a very sincere and wholehearted way. I'm talking about here a spouse who stands by your side through an economic collapse, for example, or a lover who you can lean on whenever a loved one of yours dies. I'm talking a deep friend who fights your corner whenever a stranger badmouths you, or a close relative who follows through with their commitments. And if we were to add in intimacy and sexual chemistry into this, you seek out a relationship where the other person is faithful and honest. You need to feel a tight bond, and if you and that person share similar values, then even better. It might actually be very important to you that you and your partner are on the same page in this respect. Now, in terms of beauty, you might be someone who admires or appreciates subtle beauty. You might actually see through other people's exterior, through their facade, and you look more into their hidden layers, more into their hidden facets. Maybe vulnerability is something that you're attracted to, and others is also. So this whole notion or this whole act of bringing out one's emotional vulnerabilities, maybe that's beautiful to you. Maybe that's something you admire. Then again, maybe these things scare you in others because you yourself struggle to open up as well. Still though, focusing on beauty, it's you who radiates a mysterious or slightly stealthy beauty. There's certainly an aura of mystery and quietness to you that might make others curious about you. And when it comes to the attraction process, You might prefer to leave others guessing. You're definitely not an open book, which can be very enticing to others. Then again, you might give off mixed signals to some people who do things in a whole different way, who aren't used to this, and to people who don't really understand your way of doing things. And you might also come across as intimidating towards others. And when it comes to the types of things that you do find to be beautiful, these things might include dark or eerie objects or pieces of art, or you might find people who possess more depth to them to be alluring or to be attractive. Basically, there's something about the underworld that pulls you in. There's something about unraveling other people's hidden truths that you find to be desirable. And the more intensity within that intimate relationship, the better. The more intensity is brought out, the better. So this could be the likes of you and your partner having a very strong sexual connection, where there's a concentrated focus during the act, or this could be getting to the root of a serious situation with your partner whilst being very determined as you do so. Or this could be having an extremely strong feeling you get whenever you see your partner again after being separated for a while. It's that intensity that you bring into your relationships, especially your intimate relationships, that creates a feeling of security and safety, surprisingly. But then on the other hand, I also think it's the same intensity that can bring out power struggles or destructive tendencies, as previously mentioned. It can sort of create this hot and cold dynamic that can be brought into the relationship. And the reason for why I say this is because the moment that something feels off to you, or the moment you feel slighted or like threatened, the slightest bit threatened, you might become very protective, very standoffish, very cutthroat. Sometimes you might even become paranoid, thinking that others are trying to lie to you, or that they're trying to control you or manipulate you. Now, don't get me wrong, your intuition is usually pretty on point, and you're typically very good at detecting any power plays. You're very good at reading between the lines, like I said, but there can also be times whenever you read just far too much into things, or whenever you overcomplicate situations. Though, to be fair, you might be the type of person who's attracted to partners who are complicated, partners who actually are very hard to figure out. And what may also come about with this intensity are the likes of jealousy, possessiveness, and envy. Now, these are qualities that you typically keep hidden. They're not so obvious above the surface, but when you find yourself in a romantic or like an intimate relationship, or even a friendship with somebody else, you might feel these qualities deeply, especially if you've developed that intimate or sexual connection with another person. See, it's you, Venus, in the 8th house individuals who seek a love that is all consuming, a love where your partner or your friend is committed and they're devoted to what you both share together. And to some lovers, maybe this is really sexy and it's flattering, it's very sultry. It could be this whole notion of like belonging to you, being yours only, or where you belong to them, and this can be very enticing. Then again, maybe for some of you, this possessiveness, it just comes out within the bedroom, or perhaps to others of you, this thing is more fantasy. But whatever the case, it's suggested here that you're a territorial lover, and you certainly do not tolerate broken words and empty promises from your partner. However, it could also be suggested that these things depend on the sign that Venus is in. I mean, if you have Venus in Scorpio or Cancer or Capricorn there in the 8th house, there might be a more of a tighter, more serious grasp within your relationships. But if you have Venus in Gemini or Sagittarius or Aries in the 8th house, Maybe there's a more lighthearted, easygoing feeling within your relationships. Though regardless of the sign, if at any time your partner does not live up to par with what you put in, you'll most likely feel a certain way about it and find it really hard to not let that be known. Ultimately, if the intensity is not reciprocated or if the emotional depth is lacking, you may not feel the most fulfilled within that particular relationship. You really don't want partners wasting your time, and you won't tolerate people who play mind games. And no superficial or vain love connections and relationships either here, because for you, it's not about the image. It's about the development of a deep love connection. It's about relationships that are passionate and transformative. So the last thing that I want to touch on is seduction. And if there's one Venus house placement that knows how to seduce really, really well, but very subtly, that's you, Venus in the 8th house individuals. Because as I said earlier, there's a mysteriousness to you, which can be very seductive, very alluring, but there's also feelings of ease and comfort that you can bring into your intimate relationships. It's you who can really help whoever you're with feel relaxed and calm around you. And it's you who somehow manages to get others to open up to you without even trying. You sort of use your charm to pull information out of others, and then you relate to them with empathy and with emotional understanding. After all, it's most likely yourself who has been through some heavy chapters throughout your life, and when others share, you most likely don't judge. You take that person in fully and deeply as you investigate their story. So due to these reasons, you crack people open as they pour out their vulnerabilities. And if this is a lover, they might open their heart to you. They might share with you their weaknesses. They might share their deepest, darkest secrets with you. Oh yeah, there's no underestimating the power of your seduction, Venus in the 8th house individuals, because once others get a taste of it, they're hypnotized. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video on the beauty, relationships, seduction and envy of those of you who have Venus within the 8th house. Now, if you happen to have Venus in the 8th house and you watch this video today, then definitely be sure to let us know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then definitely make sure that you click that subscribe button and also give this video a like, remember. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye.